Games Workshop makes so much money by selling you paper rules that they actively harm themselves. And that has led to the rise and dominance of Wahapedia, and Waha is pretty much the only place to go for 40k and Age of Sigmar rules. But Kill Team, like many of GW's niches, has alternatives. We already know of KT Dash, and that works and lets you save and share rosters, which is great. However, there's a new player on the scene, and by new, I mean the first time I paid attention to it, because for whatever reason, when I last saw it, I wasn't interested due to my general malaise of Kill Team. But now, I'm back. Ish. I've used this in a few games now to test it out, and it's brilliant. It's an all-in-one website that I use on my phone or tablet at the table. It is Kill Team BATTLEKIT. Link in the pinned comment, obviously go check that out. Firstly, what isn't it? Well, it is not the core rules. If you find yourself needing to know the specifics of the shooting role during a game, you will still have to run the Wahapedia gauntlet and hope that you don't accidentally click on one of the billion ads infecting your screen, and that the website is actually up and functional when you need it. Good luck. If you just want to know which is better to look through faction stats, Wahapedia or BATTLEKIT, check the timestamp called Factions below. BATTLEKIT is an at-table helper and game score tracker, and if you just want details on how it performs for game score keeping, check out the timestamp for game score. It provides faction rules, Tacops, map layouts, deployments, missions, a score tracker, a tier list, and it's a site you log into and have a profile on so you can track every game you play, and it will give you your own stats. This is a website we all need to be bringing to the table from our first game onwards. It's good for everyone at every level. That's the sales pitch of BATTLEKIT. The Spanish Armada has done it again. It's great to see them putting everyone else to shame. Me gusta. Now let's actually dive in and take a look at the features properly. But first, a subscriber only benefit, and that's a big double hello. Wow, the wholesomeness knows no bounds on this channel, but don't let that double pleasantry be non-reciprocal. So like, subscribe, and comment. The comment can be the first Spanish phrase you ever learned. I learned "No me gusta" from Team America World Police. I never learned anything else because I figured that was all I'd ever need. And to date, that's been correct. Loading up BATTLEKIT, the menu in the top left will have a lot of blanked out spaces. And that's because you're not logged in. So log in, it's free. Nice. This brings us to our dashboard. Now this is Spanish created, don't forget, and so we might need to head back to the menu and see this at the bottom, English or Spanish. I will warn you that selecting English doesn't actually translate everything to English. There is still a lot of Spanish or Spanglish lying around, but all the rules and main menu will be English almost, so you're good to go. In the dashboard, you can connect to ITC and check your stats if you fancy it. I have a blank account because I literally don't play Kill Team. Why would I do that? Lol. Lamau, even. Game Kickoff is a nice resource to guide you through your pre-game steps to make sure you do things when you should. And when the website can interact with that step, it has a blue arrow, and that will take you to the relevant place in the rest of the website app thing. I should just say, is it website or app? I don't know. App. And sure enough, whether we go to it through this Game Kickoff chart or we click on the blue arrow, at the top we can choose Open Game, Close Quarters, or Beta Decima. This shows a brilliant sense of humour from the creator and the developers because they included Beta Decima. A fun little joke. Open Game, to be clear, does not mean open play. It means not into the dark, which basically means Killzone Octarius plus scalable. You can select your own mission and deployment, or you can randomly generate a mission and map. I select Octarius and I generate. It matches the mission, the deployment, and a terrain layout valid for that deployment. There's a lot more to say about maps, but we'll follow the menu and go to Tacops. Maps come back later. This is a long list of Tacops. You can view it as a big long list for those theory crafting moments, or you can set the specific archetype or team. Then we get to maps. Okay, this is something that really excites me. Basic functionality at the top left is deployment. Top right is a set of terrain. Nakmund is deliberately misspelled because it's only for Munters, and that's a very British insult, so it's nice to see that level of inclusion. I select Octarius because I'm basic. This gives me a long list of terrain layouts using Octarius terrain. Now, I've been playing with my Octarius terrain for a long time, and I've almost exclusively been using the Turning Point Tactics map pack for 2 reasons. Firstly, because it's good. Secondly, because terrain has such a huge effect on how the game plays out, it's great to have someone else to blame for my loss. I can claim the terrain was at fault, not the fact I don't know like basic rules of the game. Same as how I blame my dice. It's not my fault, it's everyone else's fault. But now I have access to community created maps from top Spanish players. We see Ace, Lazarus, Escu and Albert Cortez himself here, Albert Cortez being the guy that designed this website app thing. And best of all, the community can vote on these maps. So in theory, everyone can use these and upload, and then through the brutal court of public opinion, bad maps would be downvoted to oblivion and good layouts would be upvoted by like the one person online who isn't toxic. And we can even order our maps how we want. This is one of those parts that doesn't translate to English, unfortunately. But using my own enhanced knowledge of Spanish, this bold text says list of maps created by the community. Opening the pull down menu, we have order by rating, most recent, and created by me. Damn, I'm bi. Lingual. This is a great feature, big fan. We then get to factions. This is kind of the big one. When you're sitting around theory crafting, you need the stats, right? So, should you use Wahapedia, KT- or BattleKit? I have been a big fan of promoting KT- over Wahapedia because it's less morally questionable. But from a pure usability perspective of I want to read the team's rules, it simply isn't as good and clean as Wahapedia. Ignoring Waha's ridiculous ads and that it constantly goes down when trying to use for minutes at a time and moral issues, from a pure usability perspective, it's a list of words and numbers with some hyperlinks on certain text, and that's really all we actually need or frankly want, and it does it well. I think that its 40k listings have more effort put in and are a little bit cleaner, but due to that being a much more expansive system and something more than a very long list kind of was required, but Kill Team is small enough to get away with it. Just a long list of stuff. Well, BattleKit, quite frankly, in my opinion, blows Waha out of the water. No ads because it's passion driven, so drop our boy Alberto a donation if you like things. Let's check this out. We select our team, let's say Nemesis Claw and Mandrakes because they're everyone's new hotness, and Brood Brothers because they're already fully included here. Now see at the top we have Mandrakes, Nemesis Claw and Brood Brothers. We can now freely click between these 3 teams, no need to constantly scroll through the drop down. Great, but now we have our tabs of racial, operatives, Tacops, ploys and equipment. The website is actually shockingly responsive, like it feels good to use. Everything's loading instantly. The layout is good and simple and clean, keeping the formatting of the Kill Team rulebook but adding base size. Nice. It also has all of the model pictures, which is actually a huge help because let's be honest, if you don't know which operative is which, it's often impossible to find out just from description. Like if you don't know Mandrakes, knowing which identical model is supposed to be which identical datasheet is impossible. Okay, bad example. I still can't tell, but my point stands. The entire experience is responsive, fast, clean, and obvious. How I like my women, you could say. It's perfect. Wow, hold on, no, it's not perfect. That was too much. There are 3 problems. First problem, when clicking Tacops it goes in alphabetical order. That's valid. That's fine, but really I'd like to see your faction Tacops always be at the top, as typically those will be the ones people need to know first on this page. Second is the Spanish in the English translation pages, which I've already mentioned is what it is. And third is the fact I'm not affiliated with this project, which is very sad for me. So yes, BattleKit beats Wahapedia in every sense, and when it comes to Kill Team, I am happy to say that I will no longer use Wahapedia. I will only ever be going to BattleKit. Unless I need to know the core rules, obviously, BattleKit does not have those. Because I'd still rather use Wahapedia than bring a physical book with me all the time. What am I, a zoomer? A boomer? I don't know. Next in the menu is tier list. This is simply a tier list of the best factions in the game as ranked by the Spanish podcast Kill Team Mercenarios. I won't talk about the accuracy of the tier list, as inevitably all tier lists are opinion based, and if you just rethink of this list, so like that their A tier is C tier, then it all tracks and makes sense. But it's really fun to have a tier list immediately at your disposal. It's a good aid and something to look at when theory crafting Kill Team, which BattleKit makes so much easier. I can see a team on the tier list and immediately jump to the Factions tab and see everything I need to know to try and figure out why that team is in the tier it is. We then see games played in a summary for ourselves. Reminds us of better days perhaps, I don't know why this is here. Very introspective. I'll come back to this in a moment and answer it properly. And finally we have Glossary, a series of definitions including a list of special rules, but also general things like fly or what dropping from terrain is. I will note, barricades is defined as light and breathable, and I'm really not sure what happened with the word breathable here. I mean, it should be traversable, light and traversable, right? And it makes me wonder if in Spanish breathable and traversable are synonyms. Either way, when scrolling this page, use the bottom left menu to turn it to 50 rows per page, and that lets you see all 47 terms. Otherwise, use the search bar because I actually can't figure out how these are ordered because it's definitely not alphabetical. Right, back to games played, because an app that tracks your games obviously needs a way to input scores. So on this page we press new game, put in your factions, find your opponent. All you need is their username on this site, or if they don't exist, send them an invitation to their email address. Or you can skip it and simply record the game for yourself. Select the enemy faction, and then type of terrain. And look at this sweet little UI. Who has initiative this turn? We have a built-in clock that can count up or down and act as a chess clock for you. And it's, again, nice and responsive. We have a dice roller which actually works pretty well. Yeah, nice and smooth. It doesn't have any ways of tracking team unique points like Kaskan elite points or Nemesis prescient points, or sometimes Tacops want you to track damage done or something. We all know the Kill Team scorecard tracks those and does it quite nicely, and that is good. And I'd quite like to see that feature added to this scorecard. It also doesn't mark in which round the Tacops are scored, which I would also like to see here, so that if you go back through the game, you can see, oh, I scored take prisoners in round 3 when I thought I scored it in round 2. But then once finished, you can view the score again, as it does save it all in your profile. You can add notes, delete it, whatever you want, and once it updates, we'll give you your stats on the dashboard. And that's it. That's BattleKit. This is what people need the next time they're at the table. I think it's brilliant as both a rules guide for when I don't have my book with me, and as a score tracker for when I play at the table. Go and use it. It's free. It's great. Spread the word. We should all be using this. If you've made it to the end of the video, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. So wholesome, and just for you for being cool. Goodbye.